And good morning. This is it. It's all over but the crying for October. Welcome to Halloween. Right now, 61 as you're waking up. We will get better, 72. But we're not going to complain on that, are we? That is kind of like the perfect weather for us. Not too cold, not too hot. Just kind of there in the middle. I like it. That's, again, 61 there as we start this day. We sure hope you'll have some fun tonight. We'll go over all the different places that we know of that we'll be having different festivals and trunk-or-treats tonight. We'll give you a list of that. Most people are doing this from 6 until 8 p.m. tonight that are holding Halloween for the kids. Keep that in mind. And by all means, be a little bit more cautious today no matter where you go in driving. Kids get rambunctious when it comes to getting candy. It's fun. They kind of forget where they are. So keep it in mind no matter what you're doing today, and watch out for those kiddos as they have fun. Probably a few hay rides as well tonight, I would think, that I don't know about. Hi, is everyone. Dawn Harlan is up. Good morning to you. Jan Martis, I see you. Jerome Lee, good morning. Becky Vickers. Mike Dallas is up. Gail Gafford. Morning, morning. Hope you're feeling well there. Well, let's get it off to a good start, and let's go to out to Collinsville to the church and get a good word for the day. This is, well, all about getting noticed.
Happy Halloween. So many folks today want to draw attention to themselves. They just seem to always be screaming, "Look at me!" Jesus dealt with a similar situation in his day. People would fast from food, but not for the spiritual reason they were supposed to. How do we know? Well, because while fasting, they would present themselves in a way that said, "Look at me." They would noticeably mope around and let their hair look all messed up and wear grungy clothes and carry a painful look on their face. They were playing to the crowd so that everybody would notice them and think that they're special. Well, Jesus in Matthew 6 basically said, stop all that silliness. Stop trying to get the world to notice you. Stop trying to play to the audience of the world and start worrying about that audience of one, our God who is in heaven. You and I should do the same thing. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't he? Hopefully that gets you in a good mood today. It makes us realize a few things. We got a message each and every weekday morning about this time with Collinsville First Baptist Church, Brother Ben. So off to the races we go. Let's get into the headlines of what has shaped our community over the last 24 hours. 48. We'll do the whole weekend, and we'll also look at a few things happening nationwide this morning. All this really kind of affects what we do and how we do it. As we begin today, let's start out with the latest post that I made just a little bit ago as we find out that, yes, there was a shooting overnight. Let me pull this up where you can see this. A gunfire home was struck. I got another button to hit here that I somehow or another miraculously forgot for the 200th time. As we go here to 42nd Avenue is where this is, the 2200 block. A home was shot last night in another drive-by shooting. As the car sped by, it hung out the back and shot that window. I think was said not to be in the back window of the SUV that shot from into this home. It's over and over and over. No one was somehow hurt with that. Their home did get struck. We do hate that. We also had reports of gunfire right here. Let's pull this in where you can see this. 44th Avenue. Now, no home or house was struck that I'm aware of or injury, but right in here, as you come down Highland Park Drive, right around 44th Avenue, we had gunfire last night. Again, to our knowledge, daylight may show different, but we don't think a house was actually hit by all of that. Over and over, isn't it? Oh, did I mention if you were just tuning into this over the weekend, you were busy, maybe you missed this one. We had a stabbing over the weekend, too. Along with our numerous gunshots, we go ahead and throw in the 19th Street stabbing that happened overnight. Victim was rushed to the hospital. Now, we're not sure of the condition of that person. Very serious at the scene. Never good, never good. We did have that happen. We also, as we go back to Saturday night, we had another, this was not during the night. Let me back up on this. This was in broad daylight. If I remember, it was somewhere around 3 in the afternoon, 2:30 to 3 o'clock. We had a car and an apartment struck with gunfire. Now, this is 8th Street, is what we're looking at here. This would be directly behind Wendy's, is where all this went down. We go down through the street, firing. Again, no one was injured. We wonder how long our luck will go. Wait a minute, let's go back to Friday night, another active night in Meridian. This time we'll go up Highway 39 to where the shootings all began. As we pull this up, St. Francisville Apartments was struck. Also, a car was hit with gunfire overnight. It's a 2400 block of 4th Street. A very active weekend for gunfire. Somehow or another, no one was seriously injured. But that did happen. We'll watch this closely as we move into Halloween, and we expect it to be mostly mischievous. That's normally what goes on Halloweens. We'll watch it. We'll be here for you behind the scenes to let you know exactly what goes on. Saturday morning, if you were waking up trying to get on I-20 to go toward Tuscaloosa out by the airport, if you were in that neck of the woods, well, you got a delay. As we see the fire trucks blocking the road, someone forgot to secure the load. What I mean by that, an 18-wheeler hauling, as you'll see there, transformers. There it sits there. Was hauling transformers, didn't have the load secured. As it went to get on the interstate, it fell off. A lot of the oil hit the highway, ran in the drain. Emergency management team had to spring into action to go clean all of this up. A busy one there. Our boys that wear the blue, the Mississippi Highway Patrol, also was busy out on I-20 over the weekend. Somewhere around Tomb Suba is where this happened. They got in pursuit of a car. Well, it just got faster. Speeds would go well over 100 miles an hour as the chase began. It would cut across and get on Highway 19 and go south toward Wynot. Didn't quite make it there as they hit a deer as they were being chased. The car become kind of all mangled up, and they had to pull over. They were promptly arrested and got a free ride to jail. Now, what makes you want to do that? No one was hurt. No one was injured. I'm not even sure at the time that it happened that there was much traffic on the road, fortunately for that, but he did do his best to get away. This time of year, you can be going the speed limit and still hit a deer. Y'all be careful as we're out there. As we saw the former governor do that, try to miss an animal and wreck. Just hold the steering wheel steady if something runs out in front of you. It's not worth your life there. We did have a structure fire over the weekend also on South Anderson Road. As we look at this, volunteer firemen responded. Major damage to the home from what I'm understanding. We do hope the community can help out in some way to help those folks as well this time of year. And I'm not sure if y'all saw this. This was, and I'll word it this way because I think God does put us in places sometime that you didn't mean to be. A man took a wrong turn. This was in another state, another city, and he noticed a home on fire, so he stopped and beat on the door. And it had been for him, they wouldn't have gotten out. He's credited for saving those folks. So sometimes, as we say, a wrong turn may lead you in the right direction. It's a lot of that goes on in this world. Sometimes you don't even realize that you're being used, do we? But you're there. Whew, boy, somebody's got some explaining to do this morning as we find that a former state representative, Donnie Riles, has been arrested in DeSoto County. Okay, yeah, a lot of people do get arrested, but this one's kind of hard to go back into the community once you're arrested on a prostitution charge. Still under investigation, not a lot of information on it, but he might have pulled over and asked somebody something. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Off to jail he went. He's been cuffed and stuffed, and we'll see what becomes of the charges there, of what they do. We did see in Prentice Street, Jackson, Mississippi. Not unusual. We're way over 100 now, as we found out. Man shot multiple times on Prentice Street. Now, we've got over 100 deaths over there already. This one somehow or another survived, but shot. We go to Vicksburg for our next victim. Drive-by shooting. Man was driving down the road and he was shot. Wrecked, hit a light pole. Pronounced dead at the scene. Vicksburg. A lot of crime happens in Vicksburg, as we've seen them try to curb crime in Vicksburg by putting, for the youth, curfews and enforcing it. Hitting them with stiff fines so the parents will know where their children are. Let's hope that over the next year that really does show some response, start to show some signs that it's helping. I know on paper there is a curfew in our town. Doesn't mean it's enforced, but it is there. Vicksburg. Y'all be careful there. We do see over the weekend Highway 472 in Copiah County. A Mississippian lost their life in a traffic accident. Car overturned and they lost their life in that. This is big. They're going to be voting on this next month, December 7th. I think it's when it's going to happen. Whether or not the Amtrak that runs from Mobile to New Orleans will stay. They're going to be voting on that, whether it's worth the while for that train to travel back and forth. I would think so, but we'll see how they vote on that. It's December the 7th, a day that will live in infamy. That date always sticks out, doesn't it? Let's see here what else we've got going on here. This is, I guess we don't think a lot about it, or at least I didn't, as we've had this huge drought this year. Water levels everywhere. We've told everyone not to burn because things can happen. As we start to see the Mississippi River has gone down, you can see places of the river that you've never seen before. You're finding ships, artifacts. But here's the other side of this that we just had not realized. As it's very hard for these barges to navigate through here, in some cases they can't, it's driving the price of crops up as farmers try to get their products to market on these barges. It's costing them a whole lot more to have it shipped because it takes so much longer. The prices have gone, and, well, you'll see that reflected in your grocery store before long. Never really thought that much about the river, but there's more that flows down that river than you think. It's loaded directly to these barges and shipped all across the United States. Huge impact on us, whether we thought about that or not. You may have outsmarted me and thought about that before now. Oh, I see them, but I just really not put the two and two together. I don't know if you saw this over the weekend, is that rain in the Meridian area was really fortunate. As the storms broke out on the west side of the state, Vicksburg was basically flooded there for a little while. Parking lots, water rose to our south. The Mississippi Gulf Coast from Biloxi east over to Mobile, numerous tornadoes hit, tore up things. Our area, we didn't get a thunderstorm warning, but we watched the rain. We had heavy rain, and we were blessed on this not to have the severe weather. It was obvious that it was going to be south of here, below Laurel, but it didn't get much past the coastal area for tornadic activity. There was some damage. Keep our fellow Mississippians and Alabamians in your thoughts as they try to recover this morning. So little things like that are pretty tough on you. We do see more of this each and every day as crime starts. It's not just adults that do crime. Juveniles get in on this, and sometimes they go to the extreme, as we see this case this morning. 3 juveniles arrested in Poplarville. What do they do? Armed robbery, a tobacco store. And I expect to see crime rise in these areas. If you're a business owner that's going to carry this new cannabis that helps medical, what they're after is it constantly breaking in. We've seen it here in overnight, not during the day, of people trying to take the gummy worms and things of that nature that have the marijuana in them. That's a big hot item that is on the market out there. More and more of this will come, mark my word. They're going to be tried as adults there in Poplarville for what they've done. Loaded shotgun, pistols, and in they went. That's way too young to be even thinking about doing crimes like that. As we go down to Natchez, we got an old boy that went in and robbed a store. We have to give kudos to the Natchez Police Department. They caught him within 2 hours. This was late Friday night. As they caught him, and again, he robbed a grocery store. They found out that 2 hours earlier, right before dark, he's probably linked to a convenience store robbery also. It's good when somebody gets caught and tries to take those that people work hard for what they got. Good job to them. Have y'all noticed? Boy, this is humongous. $1 billion up for grabs in the lottery. Second time in history that it's ever made it to that. I think there's going to be drawing. It's tonight. Yeah, tonight is the next drawing. So if you haven't bought a lottery ticket, $3, $5, whatever you want, even $1, it might be worth a chance at winning a little bit. Somebody eventually will win. $1 billion. A lot of good could be done with that. Just saying. I do see in national headlines, I don't know if everybody's up on this, what a sweet lady she is. Dolly Parton. I think most of us know her, whether you know her from the countryside or you know her from The Whitney Houston, I'll Always Love You from the movie. You've heard the name, I'm sure, no matter what type of music you listen to. Dolly says she's fixing to back off a little bit. She's going to quit touring nonstop. She said she may do a show here and there, but it's not going to be on the road as she gets older. She said she wants to be closer to home, spend a little bit more time with Carl Dean. She spent a lot of time on the road. Dolly has made her millions, and what a good lady she is. She's helped so many in different ways. So a salute to her. Inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's a pretty big deal there. Other news this morning, you look at these stories, and you go, well, this is way off. This is nowhere from here. Iran. I often remember how Alan Jackson referred to that. I don't know the difference between Iraq and Iran. Simply being a Christian in that country right now will get you arrested. Iran is where I'm talking about, as it's being overtaken by the Islamic Republic. Just for being a Christian, being arrested. And you think, well, that's way off. Watch the signs. Watch what's going on worldwide. We have, for the first time in the history of our nation, fell below to where 50% of Americans no longer go to church. That's pretty strong. Can this happen in other countries? Absolutely. Depends on those that no longer speak up, stand back, let things happen. Just a word of warning as we look around the world. That can happen in other places. A Texas mom protected her family. Did y'all see this? She was in the home with her 2 kids, and somebody tried to break in the home. She defended herself, wounded him. No charges are going to be pressed against her, as the sheriff says she had every right in the world to protect herself, and she did. So glad for those kids that everybody is okay. Happens time and time again. We're going to see more of these crimes like this as you get near the holidays. I always warn about what happens and what people do, home invasions and things of that nature. They go after. When it gets colder, they start moving in. Just keep in mind with all of that. We got so much more. We're going to talk about your forecast. What is up for us this week with the weather as we move into November? As we pass Halloween today, we are now getting ready for a great time coming up for Thanksgiving. All of that and so much more. We'll check your forecast next. Y'all don't rush off. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our community efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
Keep in mind, as it's warm right now, right, we're sitting, 61. Make sure to go ahead and get your gas. Get those tanks topped off so that the poor gas man, when we have that first cold snap, isn't running all day trying to load up all those in that cold weather. So go ahead and get yours when you can. Call Sanders. They'll help you there. Let's get into our forecast.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Record highs, record lows. It was 2016. We had a high record of 91 on the state. We're getting nowhere near that today. Thank heavens. Back in 93, a low of 28 degrees. It was quite nippy that day. Whew, don't remember it, but I'm going to trust them. Mostly cloudy today. We will have some areas of sunshine this afternoon. 73 is what we'll get Meridian, 72 in Philadelphia. And as you go up Highway 15, you get near Mississippi State, we should see around 71. Out to our west, Vicksburg, 74, down to Natchez. What a beautiful day. 75 is what we'll see. Hattiesburg getting warmer as we near toward the coast, 76 there. Over to the east, we'll find that Tuscaloosa 72, as well as right there at Livingston, 72 to 73, somewhere along there. Auburn, we'll see 73, and Montgomery, 74 if you're in that side of the woods there. As we look at this, we're warmer right now, way off California IA. There's a cooler temperature headed our way. We'll keep track of that and let you know. Let's move into our 7-day forecast. As we look at today, 72, no chances of a rain whatsoever. Again, kind of cloudy for the most part. 52 tonight for a low. Now, when you wake up in the morning, plan ahead. We could have some fog bright and early tomorrow as daylight tries to break through. 54 only for a low. As we look at the rest of the week, we're going to kind of steady in those mid to upper 70s, anywhere from 76 to 78 with the high hitting on Friday. A 10% chance on Friday, slight chance of rain on Saturday with a 20% chance. But good weather all in all. Highs in the 70s and lows in the 50s at night. I like the 50s. It's not bad at all. As we look all the way through November the 14th, we'll start to see 60s after we get to mid-month. About 2 weeks out is what we're looking at on that. The 7th, it looks to be a warm day, 79, as we move far ahead there. But again, like we said, back down to the 60s as we get to about mid-month. Something to look forward to. Now, what is happening with the tropics? We got a potential storm building that will affect South America as we pull this up. Now, what this is planning on doing, we'll show you on radar here in just a second. It will go right in this direction, right through here. Nothing to bother the Gulf of Mexico. Thank heavens it's not headed that way. Off in that direction it will go. What are the best times to fish today? Well, as we go to Chet's Paint and Body, it's been going on early, 6:30. Just kicked off here as we pull this up, all the way to 8:30 this morning if you want to hit the water there. Sunset, sunrise in about 20 minutes from now. Wind's going to be calm and becoming west around 5 miles an hour this morning. You can't beat that at all. Now, let's pull up radar real quick and take a look at what we've got here. We got some major fog going on out to our east in Alabama this morning as we pull this up to show you. Let's see here. We go to Meridian Honda radar. Vicksburg, y'all are showing a little bit of fog there as well this morning. Highway 61, just south of there, up to Highway 2080 in that area there. A lot of fog there. Back over to Jonesville, Louisiana, Alexandria. But look at this as we come across here. Thomasville, Alabama. I know we got folks that watch in that area. Look at this thick fog all the way up through Selma, Montgomery this morning, up to Gadsden, Anniston. Y'all be careful. And as we look at this in Tuscaloosa, dense fog advisory as well for these areas here from York, Demopolis. Y'all be careful. It is extremely thick here around Selma. Uniontown, if you're headed out of Demopolis that direction this morning, take it a little bit slower there and be careful. Troy even has a little bit. Our friends all the way down to Daphne, up by Mobile, these areas here. Central Nail is starting to move into that area. And we all know two-lane roads are thick in those areas. Out to our west, we go back into Mississippi around Poplarville to over to Bogalusa. A little bit of fog there and around Macomb, Mississippi. We do have showers over in Georgia around Macon, going up to Greenville, South Carolina, up to the Carolinas to Asheville, Knoxville, just north of you, some showers. Charleston, West Virginia, getting its fair share of some light showers this morning. Norfolk even has a little bit of fog. Oklahoma, look at that fog. Chicago, foggy and rainy this morning. As we look up here, I'm just curious because I hadn't checked the temperature in the Dakotas up here. 43 this morning in the Dakotas. And let's go over here in Montana. We're looking at 39. Not so bad. There will become a time to where it is a lot different than that. We'll have those negative 0 degrees there. Dorothy Ford, good morning. Glad to see you there. Barbara Smith is up. Now, as I mentioned, we have a lot of events going on today. Let me bring up a little bit of these as we look at the Mississippi Highway Patrol is going to be busy this afternoon. Lots of Halloween candy and stuff for the kids beginning at 6, going to 7:30 out at the big Highway Patrol office on top of the hill on 11 and 80. Hope you can make it out to trick or treat with the Highway Patrol. Decatur Street is going to be having this tonight, 5 until 7 at the ECC campus. If you make it out for that, there's going to be a lot of treats for the kids there in Decatur. Meridian Halloween is being celebrated tonight, 6 until 8 p.m. Don't forget that. And let's see here. Trunk or Treat also at the West Lauderdale High School. That is going on. The band's going to be having something in conjunction with this. Inflatables, a petting zoo, touch a truck. They got a lot happening there for you. And if we don't have your event that is taking place today, maybe it got moved. I want to say, am I guessing here, that Enterprise moved theirs to today. I almost feel like they are. If y'all could verify that for me, we'll put that back up for everybody. LaWanda said the gentleman that we talked about just a little bit ago of the house fire saved 4 children's lives. What a hero that is. A lot of people would just keep driving. Well, it doesn't concern me. during some of the toughest times defines who you are. Always remember that. How you react, what you do defines the person that you truly are inside. Do you help those or just keep on? Something to think on there. Connie says that in Fargo, negative 35 to negative 40 wind chills. Okay, I want nothing to do with that. And Barbara tells us, yes, Enterprise did move their trick-or-treating to tonight. So their big festival is tonight in Enterprise. That's good to know that. All right, and again, if you've got anything that we don't know about, please let us know so we can share. We said good morning to, I believe that's Lacey Payne. How are you today? Starkville, Mississippi. Y'all be careful up there. If you bump into Dylan Ray today, tell him I said hello. Hadn't seen him in 2 or 3 weeks. The boy's been busy doing whatever they do up there. Candace will join me in just about an hour from now. Hope you'll come back. Ellie's been outside. She's in a good mood. Sophie, my other dog, she's not so happy about that little one taking part of her food. Always that little bit of jealousy. Well, again, we'll see you in about an hour from now as we get this morning underway for you right here at Facebook. Join us on YouTube as well. If you hadn't subscribed, do so. Do that, like and subscribe. Also, you can join us on Fox 30. All of this comes your way 1 hour and 2 minutes from now. We'll be back. Good morning to Newton, Erica Kilgore. Glad to see you there. Again, we'll be back very shortly from now as we'll get all the information together to let you know what's going on in and around our community and also across the United States. Good morning.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.